welcome. If you haven't been here, Ragtops Roadsters is a full restoration and repair facility located in Percy, Pennsylvania, about an hour north of Philadelphia. Been in business 30 years, restored many cars. We do a lot of Jaguars. Over the years, we've had many cars in. This is the second SS100 we've had the pleasure of being associated with. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this. And Mike is going to come out here in a second, but I'll go through the car, and he'll come out and open the bonnet for everyone. This is a 1938 SS100, one of 116 3.5-liter cars built by Jaguar. These cars were born out of the 2.5-liter SS100. This particular car is very special. It has UK race history and was campaigned by Mr. Archer in the UK. He ran the RAC, the Scottish RAC, successfully, and also the Brands Hatch and Silverstone RAC events. It has a competition head that was recently actually discovered on the car, a bronze head that has bigger valves and bigger ports, yielding a 10-to-1, believe it or not, 10-to-1 compression ratio on this car. Welcome, Mike Angar. Mike's going to open the bonnet for everyone and show everyone underneath here. Just a second. Underneath. Okay, thank you. Center strap out. This is finished in suede green. Suede green was the precursor to British racing green. And the lion's share of this work was done by our sister shop, Pollock Auto Restoration in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. We've done some mechanical work on it. It's here for some more mechanical work at this point in time, having to do with the crank, pole assembly, exhaust work, and some other small things that we're going to get ready for the fall event at Hershey. Hopefully, if it can get pulled off in October. The car has done very well. It's been to the Greenwich Concours. It's won there. It's been to Radnor. It's won there. It's been to many other concours in the last 2 years and been successfully campaigned, and it's just a lovely car. So now, this is the bronze head, very rare Westlake head that actually was kind of discovered almost by accident. Chris was doing some cleaning and rubbed a little bit and said, "What's this?" And upon further inspection, found it's an original bronze head. Very few of these were built and fitted to the SF100s. Again, with a 10-to-1 compression ratio. I know Chris is on here, and I've really never driven it really hard, Chris. Really, I'm telling the truth. You know, it is it's a lovely handling car. And I have to say, I've driven several pre-war cars. This is the best of the lot. I think Mike would agree. It's a great handling sports car for its day, way ahead of its time. So, at this point in time, we're going to move to our right to a 1953 Jaguar Xk120. This car was it was brought to us a couple months ago. And the owner has passed, and his wife would like to have it run and find a new home. It's actually a pretty solid car with Arizona plates or New Mexico plates. They lived there for some time and drove the car around. Has lots of patina, lots of originality. They painted it blue years ago, and it's going to be offered for sale shortly. We got it running. We got the brakes going just enough today to get it up here in the pad, as we call it. Lovely car. One of the beautiful features, I feel, and may able to agree, on the XKs is the ridge line. When you have the split windscreen up in the front, and Ryan will get the camera on outside here just in a second. But you can see this from the outside, the ridge. That's a very delicate feature that you'll find on the 120s and 140s. I think it's one on the 150. But this line right here is very pretty. And this is an excellent restoration candidate and will be open for sale shortly. Yeah. Can everybody hear me okay? Raise your hand. Can you hear me okay? The sound is better.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. I'm hearing the sound of my headset here. So. All right, so at this point, does anybody have any questions about either of these cars, the SS100 or the Xk120 fixed head coupe? Do I have any bidders for the Xk120 fixed head coupe? Oh, and anybody sticking their hands up? I didn't think so. Lovely car. Come out here, you can see the evolution from the SS100 on the left, the pre-war car. And what a radical change, World War II. And then the successor to that car, the Xk120. Engine was changed with the double overhead cam. The body styling borrowed from French stylists. And we know the story from there. They were very successful, wonderful cars. Nothing like an XK looking out over the bonnet, sticking your right foot down. It's just absolutely fabulous. And then the XK lived until 1961 through the XK150. In late 61, the E-Type was launched. And the E-Type we have on display here tonight is a 1967 open two-seat roadster, 4.2-liter engine. And in many circles, this believed to be one of the more desirable E-Types. It is not the flat floor, not the side bonnet latch, but you hear me okay? Yeah. But the car is just a fabulous driver. The has a better gearbox, has a 4.2-liter engine, still covered headlamps. That era between 65 and 67 is really thought to be the sweet spot E-Type, and I tend to agree. It still has the old looks, the vintage looks, and the performance of the 4.2 liters, the better gearbox, the covered headlamp, the classic E-Type. We'll have some other E-Type to show you a little bit.
I'm going to stop for a second.
Hang on just a second here. We're going to stop for a second.
Who understood what work still needs to be done on the 53 Xk120?
It's actually a pretty solid car. Everything, if you wanted to make it a show car, you could, if you wanted to polish the paint, you could certainly do all the mechanicals that have been sitting 20 years. So all the brakes need to be done, all the hydraulics, the carburation, everything needs to be done with fuel, rubber, and hydraulic fluid. So, but you know, if you can live with the patina, it could be a driver, and that I think was how it was used. So it's something that we don't have a number on yet. We've still got to do some more brake work so it can be test driven. We've driven around the block. That's about it at this point in time. Okay, but if you haven't subscribed to our website and go to ragtops.com, you can subscribe to our website and get our monthly newsletter. And when it becomes available, we'll be happy. We're going to put it up on the newsletter and hopefully find a new home for it. So again, ragtops.com. On the website there, you can talk and you can register for our newsletter, and we'll put you on the monthly newsletter. It used to be event-based. What's his name? What's your name?
My name is Barton, B-A-R-T-O-N.
Okay, very good. Thanks for joining.
Me with my hand, Bob Andretta.
Where's home? Where are you from?
I live on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C.
Okay, very good.
That's Bob Andretta.
Thanks for joining us. You're the nation's capital Jaguar Club?
That's correct.
Okay, great. Great.
I have a question.
Oh, sure, go ahead. Question.
My question is for Harlan Schufeld.
Uh-oh.
Harlan, is that magnificent looking aircraft behind you, is that for sale too?
I don't think so. Is that the Black Hawk? Harlan's probably muted.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll find him.
There you go. That is SR-71
That's the SR-71, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
Blackbird. Yeah. It's in the Virginia Museum of Science here in Richmond. It's no longer outside, it's inside.
16 years ago. Okay, we've resolved our technical difficulty. I'm going to go back to the camera outside and continue talking. We'll break for questions in a couple minutes. So back to our format again. Thanks, guys. Okay, we're back out. Ryan's got the camera going, and it's right on the E-Type, so pin his video. You can hear my audio and see his video. Here we go. Now, again, off to our left, I don't want to ignore a car that's in this lineup. Off to our left, I'm going to walk over here to a 1960 Jaguar Mark 9. This is a long-time owned, a family-owned car. We've cared for it for at least 10 years. And it's an older restoration. And we do what's needed to keep it going, keep it alive. I'll walk in front of the camera here so Ryan can get a look inside. Lovely patina. It's all here. You know, with these old cars, have that essence, that smell. And yes, there's the jump box that we got it going with today. And the wood's okay, the leather's okay, and these folks enjoy the car. It was purchased new by the lady whose father bought it new, I believe. And they had loved this car, and every year we do a little mechanical work, keep it freshened. And at one point, if they hit the lottery, they're going to get it restored. So right now, it's got a good home. In fact, they never took delivery on it this year with COVID. But we're keeping it for the winter. We'll probably do some tests that it needs just to keep it up and put it back in their hands next spring. So again, lovely car. And we do, we've had a number of Mark 9s, Mark 7s in here over the years. Has a wonderful feel to the car. All right, now we're going to walk on down the road. Follow me. The SS100, again, magnificent. Chris, I know you're on. We had to certainly move the windscreen up so we could open the bonnet, but that's what a joy it is to see the bronze head. That's something else on this car. Really fabulous. So moving down the line, again, the Xk150 and 120 and the E-Type. Now, we do a fair amount of Jaguar work, what we call modern day cars, you know, and I think a lot of guys on the Zoom tonight would consider anything after 1980 a modern day car. So we work on Jaguar, Van den Pla, the XJS, and even up through the X Type and the S Type. And the XJS came in from a gentleman in New York State. You could throw a stone from his house to Canada. He used to live in this area, knows our reputation, and he had us pull out the sub-assembly in the rear, and we did stub axle seals and brakes and everything that it needed, and it's just being tried and proofed at this point in time. And we want to make sure everything's right on it before we get it back to him, get it into the detail, and get it back. So behind Ryan is a 2007 Jaguar S Type. My wife will sell this to you real cheap. Got to come over here and look at the interior. I mean, you guys know what these look like, but this is a cream puff. 30,000 miles, and it runs like it was new. And my wife and I enjoy this car. But we do a fair amount of X and S types work in here, maintenance. Again, these are pretty much bulletproof cars. They have their frailties here and there. We're familiar with them. Like on the XK8s, the cam timing chain, and then the hydraulics on the roof need to be dealt with. So I just brought this down today to show that we do work on what we think are modern day cars, and without Ford, there would have been no Jaguar at this point in time. We would have never had an F Type. But nevertheless, let me take you inside. Beautiful night here in Percy with our arrangement of Jaguars outside here. And if I can get somebody to open the main garage door, we'll take you in and give you a shop tour. The cars for the second floor come through this door. And come on in, and we'll walk you through the shop and show you what we have underway right now. Thank you, sir.
They're going inside, Sal.
Come on in. We're going to start back here with a Lotus Elite. This Lotus Elite came in from Pittsburgh, a Lotus enthusiast, and we have repaired the gearbox, had the engine out, repaired the gearbox. We've done the rear and front glass seals. We've done the entire wiring harness, exhaust manifold. We've modified to a header assembly. This is a Series 1 car, right drive. All the Series 1 were right drive cars. And we've just gotten this to the point where we're doing the final sorting.
Yes, the gas tank.
And this car will be delivered back to him probably in the next month or so, I'm going to guess at this point.
That's nice that you can do that.
Hey,
Beautiful little cars. A friend of ours at the shop describes these as the Fabergé egg of British cars. Drag coefficient of 0.027 or something like that. A very respectable number today. Colin Chapman got it right with these cars. Different from the respect of all the other cars you're about to see, that it does not have any metal frame underneath it. All of the pickup points for the suspension are embedded in the fiberglass and provides for a light, nimble ride, 1,400 pounds, 115 horsepower if it's tuned properly. They were fast on the track. The only problem is when they crashed, they broke in half and caught on fire. But they're nimble road machines. I wouldn't mind owning one at some point. Good friend of ours has one. Hopefully he's tuned in tonight, and he loves it. And he's just still smitten with the car. We shorted it 15 years ago for him. All right, we're going to skip across this E-Type and go to this Alfa Romeo. This was recently purchased by a good client of ours. This is a 1968 Alfa Romeo Spider. And we had a pre-purchase inspection done on it, and it's a car new to him. Twin cam engine, very nice, very spirited drive. The third down to second synchro is bad. The gearbox is going to have to come out. This gentleman likes his cars right. And if you've ever had the pleasure of driving these are just fantastic little machines. Many of you know I'm a Triumph guy, so I have a little difficulty with the length of the gear shifter, but it can be easily overcome when you stick your right foot down into that little twin cam, which makes a tremendous amount of power for the displacement. And they're fun little cars to drive. So this is a solid car, which is good. It came out of Long Island, New York. And we'll be repairing the gearbox and going through some of the other suspension needs that the car has and getting him back on the road as soon as we can with it. Behind this car is a car under this cover that we're very proud of, and some of you have seen in the past, but we'll show it to you again. This is a 1960 Triumph Italia. This is car number 126, excuse me. And this car was restored here and debuted at Amelia in 2015. For those who haven't seen these before, these are Triumph TR3s with a hand-built Vignale body. They built approximately 329 to be precise. I've had the pleasure of owning car number 194 for 40-some years now. And the gentleman who bought this car bought it from us, through us, I'm going to say. A client of ours had it, and he passed. And this gentleman took on the project, and he took the right step in the right direction every time there was a choice to make. He has had this car, campaigned this car for 16 concours, and has placed or won an award at every concours since then. So it's a testament to the restoration work. This was a collaborative effort between Ragtops and Roadsters, where we built the engine, did some of the mechanicals, and Pollock Auto Restoration, our sister shop, who did the fine restoration of the metal work and the paint. When we were choosing the colors for this car, we were down at Amelia Island, and I had told the folks that I think silver gray was what they wanted. This is an opalescent silver birch, which is an Aston Martin color. And the lady wanted to have it done a black interior. And I said, well, that's all well and good, but maybe a dark blue or possibly an oak, a oxblood red interior would be a nice color. And she kind of said, oxblood,
I don't know about that. So we saw a little, I think it was a Datsun. It was a Datsun 1600 at Amelia. And actually the video is showing this a lot redder than it's a very deep plum, dark red, if you will. But the light is brightening it up for the video. And she looked at this little Datsun at the Gooding preview. We're going to turn the light off so you can get an actual look at the tone. There we go. And she said, what color is that interior in that little Datsun? Because she liked the red with the silver combination. And I told her it was Cabernet Sauvignon. And we were done at that point. So it has been a pleasure working with these folks. They truly are passionate about this car, have shown it in a VTR arena. It's done very, very well there. And we've done another car since then that's been invited to the Greenbrier Concours. And I'm going to have the privilege of showing it there in 2 weeks over Labor Day weekend. So again, Triumph TR3 underpinnings, Vignale coachwork. Not to dwell on that too long. Next to us here, to my right, your left, are two special E-types. A 69, both 69s actually, and both, believe it or not, have 26,000 miles on the clock. This robin's egg blue, or light blue for what Jaguar called it, is fitted with a tan interior. And Mike Cook of the Jaguar Heritage did some research on this some time ago and found only two like it with the tan with the blue, which I think is a very handsome combination. It's very original. The current owner bought this 1969 E-Type in '73 with 2,000 miles on it with an A title. So in other words, it hadn't really been titled to anyone. He's taken very good care of it. And life got busy and he hadn't been able to drive it. It was in here maybe 8-10 years ago. We went through it, mechanically refreshed everything, and then sat. Had obligations with family, and I see a sticker on it from 14. So it's been 6 years. We have the rear tank out, which, as everybody knows, if you let the fuel sit there, that's not good. So we're getting the tank refinished. We'll go through the fuel system. We'll check out the braking system. We'll get him back out on the road to enjoy this car. Again, a 1969 Series 2 E-Type with 26,000 original miles. Most of this you're looking at is original paint. There was a small repair done on the bonnet. I can't even tell you where it was, something we did 6 or 7 years ago. Behind it is another 69 E-Type coupe, dark blue. This car has been resprayed in its life. It came in about 2 weeks ago. And this is, again, another 26,000 mile survivor, purchased new by the owner's father back in the day in 1969 from a local Jaguar dealership, Keenan Motors. Finished with a light blue interior. This car, again, shows very light use, and we're going to be going through the hydraulics and the fuel system and everything that's rubber, chasing out the demons. So two fantastic low mileage cars. We're doing a lot of that these days where someone brings in a car that presents very well, and we're going through all of those, the three things that go in time: fuel, anything hydraulic related, anything rubber related. So not show you, we may have shown you if you've seen other Zooms, this is a continuing project back here. A 1960, Ryan's making his way around here. In the back corner is a 1960 Mercedes 190. And the owner wanted to make this car and is in the process of making this car in automatic. Well, for those of you who know the Mercedes marque, they never made them in automatic. We sourced a Mercedes 190E engine from 1993. Everybody can see the modern design, the valve cover, the aluminum radiator, the miles of wire. It's going to be a computer-controlled system, and it has an automatic transmission, and we're working through all of the electronics to make this run like our modern-day cars. But what's going to be very cool, again, automatic and fitted with air conditioning, high-output alternator. We moved the battery back into the trunk, and if you look here, the guys have been working with this to make sure all the wires go to the right place. So that's taken some time, and we're getting it one step at a time. We hope to be able to get it fired up here very shortly. You're re-engineering everything at that point. The motor mounts up, the exhaust, the fuel delivery system, everything changes. And it's going to be done nicely. It's not a hack job. It's going to be something that's going to be very unique, and people are going to scratch their head and say they never made an automatic 190, but that's what we're doing. So we'll take you over to the other side of the shop and show you over this way, past the Lotus Elite. And to my right, right here on the floor is a 3.8 liter engine destined for a JCNA points car, a 1963 E-Type Roadster. And we're going to show you a video in a minute of that body in opalescent silver gray. It's been painted at Pollock, and this engine will head out there shortly and be fitted to this car. And it's going to be a stunning example. And everything, every nut, bolt, and screw is all done to JCNA specs. And above it, as Ryan zooms out from this engine, is a 1955 Mgtf. This car came to us from a local enthusiast who was doing his best for his brother who lives in Hawaii. And he got to the limits of what he knew about the car and brought it into us, and we picked it up from there. The paint is driver quality. It shows some patina, some crazing on the bonnet, but it's a long-time family-owned car, and they want to leave it as it is. And we've gone through this and replaced the gearbox, and we've done a lot of work. We did freeze plugs in the head just recently. We did on all the hydraulics, wheels, and tires. And now we're in the proofing stage. We'll be driving this, hopefully putting another 100 miles on it before it gets on a truck to go to California and then a ship to go to Hawaii. So obviously we want to get this right. They want us to get this right. These are a lot of fun to drive if you stay off the interstate. So this is a 1954 or 55 Mgtf. To my left is the Fiat 124, the Fiat 2000, I believe it's called at this point in time. We just did a Toyota Land Cruiser for this gentleman. And this gearbox needs to be replaced, needs some suspension work. We do a fair amount of Italian car work. Lancia, Fiat, Alfa, Ferrari, we've had Maserati in over the years, but you see small percentage of those cars. It requires the same type of care and approach. It's a different source of vendors, obviously, for the parts. And a newer car in the respect that I believe this is a 1981, if I'm not correct. But we'll be sorting through this car and getting it back to him. To Ryan's left is a Morgan 4.4. This car came in just yesterday, and the gentleman is hoping to find a new garage for this. Our first impression is the paint is nice. The handbrake's not working. We got to go through it and sort through the car and make sure, hopefully, we can offer it as a safe vehicle for someone to drive and enjoy. I believe it has the 109E engine in it with the push-pull gearbox of those in the Morgan. I know that takes a specific set of skills to drive those gearboxes, but they're fun. And Morgan is for the hardy group, hardy souls that enjoy going out there and staying close and in touch with the road. That's the best way to say it. So at this point, we've covered the top floor of the shop, and we're going to take a small break and show you a video. And that's going to come up on Owen, where Owen is. And hopefully, I'm going to work with you on this video and be able to tell you about some of these things that are happening here. So at Pollock Auto Restoration, if you want to pin that, that's the video we're showing right now. Good. So at this point in time, at Pollock Auto Restoration is the sister shop which Mike acquired several years ago. We have fabricators who can go through and do interiors, metalwork, welding, fabrication, and finishing and painting. A good set crew out there that does fabulous work, and their workmanship was shown to you earlier with the SS 100. This is a Mark IV, again owned by the family who owned the E-Type out front. A long-time family ownership of Jaguars, and this we just did the head on this car. I had a bent push rod, and we repaired the push rod and shot this picture of this fine gentleman at the Philly Auto Show last year. This XK140 is owned by a gentleman who's on tonight and is progressing. That's what the roof looked like when a tree fell on it. The car was purchased. We've since painted it, just fitted the engine, and we're getting hardware together, and we'll be doing the finish assembly shortly. I'm not sure what color interior is going to be, but we're certainly going to ask Michael in a minute. But it's going to be a lovely XK140 coupe, and we've got to finish putting it together. That's next. This is some of the suspension componentry under the XK140, being restored to an excellent driver class car. This is another XK150S, came in from Long Island, New York. This car had the rear wings actually welded onto the body. It was not the right way. Somebody went to a lot of extra trouble to do it wrong. And you can kind of see here, we had to take it all apart and be able to redo them properly. And this gentleman would like to win points at JCNA event. We're making the tolerance ever so perfect. And it's in the final phases, and it's just been primed for the first time. And the interior of the XK140 was just reported that it will be red. Thank you, Michael. This XK150S is going to be heading to the paint shop shortly. What you're seeing now are pictures of a 1963 XKE Roadster that came to us in parts, in bits. The bonnet was loose, the car was disassembled, and you're seeing some of these parts right now. The engine was built here. I showed it to you a minute ago. Here it is. And the rear subframe assembly, there's the gearbox. The rear subframe has been since installed in the car. And we're on the quest for getting all of the proper British standard hardware to be able to do final assembly of the car. And again, bring this car home to JCNA Awards. Lovely silver, opalescent gray, I believe, with a red interior, similar to the 140. It's going to be stunning when it's done. This is how the paint looks right now. The fit and finish is absolutely perfect. And as I said, there's a rear sub-assembly that has been installed. And we'll be putting the hardware together for the front subframe. And then the engine will be installed. This is a Series 3 type, the way it came into us at Pollock. Again, we're doing metal prep here, and we've done some painting to this car, priming at this point in time. And we're going to do some cut-in painting, and then we're going to move towards the dash and the engine to see what we need on the mechanicals. Here is an an E-Type, a 63 E-Type coupe that we did a couple of years ago. Tri-carb car, air-conditioned car, 5-speed. What a wonderful driver that was. We went to a preview for the F Type. And this is an Xk120 we did a number of years ago. And this is another shot of this car. Again, another fabulous car to drive. Won many awards. Back to the SS101 at this point in time. Here we are prepping the SS100 for its debut in Amelia. The judges came by and gave it the nod. And that's what we have here at Ragtops right now. And at Pollock Auto Restoration, as I said, is a key component of this operation where all of our metal and fabrication work is done. So now I'm going to head downstairs. Thanks for indulging in that. It's a way to bring in some of the work that we've done from Pollock so you can see it. Pollock is about a 45-minute drive west of here. And we have 6, maybe 8 guys working out there full-time at this point in time. We're very busy and doing mostly paint and finish work. And now you can pin your camera to a...
Should be already pinned. Should already be pinned.
Oh, should already be pinned to that. Very good. Okay. This is a little Riley. This is a fun little car. You have to be brave to drive this car. And we've done a lot of work on this. We just recently had the exhaust manifold coated. The radiator, I understand, is back. And that will be fitted shortly. We just rebuilt the front end. And maybe it's a little less squirrely than I remember it, but it's a short wheelbase car with very tall wheels, and it's a special. And check out our website at ragtops.com for a video that Ryan produced on that a week or so ago. And there's some fabulous history. This car was campaigned in the UK, and one of very few that were built. The boat tail car, 1933, 1930, I think. Yeah, I think it's a 1930. But nevertheless, doesn't matter. Little boat tail, special, if you will, and a lot of fun to drive, right drive, and a real hoot. Working down this way, we're going to step into the world of Jaguar first, and we'll work our way back. I would like to introduce to you our master technician, the star of tonight's evening show, his first appearance ever on a Zoom, Mr. Bill Dietrich. Bill has been working on Jaguars for 43 years. And I asked him a couple weeks ago, do you think it's going to work out for you?
Yeah, it might.
It might. Okay, so it might. So at any rate, Bill has been instrumental, and his depth of knowledge is fantastic. You can ask Bill the question; he's the answer man here. So what we have is 4 Series 3 E-types. In front of us down here to the left, which I don't know if you can see, is a 74 08 one with the rubber bumpers and the configuration that was made for the US spec. Okay, and down the line here, we'll show you a car that we've modified. But Bill's going to talk a little bit first about this 1972, is that correct?
Yeah.
1972 Series 3 car that we've done a full engine rebuild on. So I'm going to turn the mic over to Bill, and Bill can talk to you about it.
How you doing? The V12 engine is a great engine. It has its quirks. It's very complicated. Like there's over 100 nuts and bolts just assembling and holding the cylinder head on, each one. This particular one broke the timing chain tensioner, which caused the jack shaft to break and the chain to go through the one of the cam covers.
Right.
One of the heads was too corroded to fix, so we replaced that. The basic motor was in good shape, but it needed, you know, rings, pistons, and cylinders. You know, valve job was done. To remove the engine, you remove it as an assembly with the transmission. You take the front upper cross member off here, and the engine will come out the front, lifting it up some. A very complicated cooling system. There's 2 thermostats, one on each side of the engine. As you can see through some of the video here, they really crammed that thing in there. And it makes the car heavier. It's more of a GT car than a sports car. But when they're running good, the performance is amazing. They're extremely smooth at all RPMs. They're torquey all the time. You put your foot in it, no matter how fast you're going, you go faster. We also on this car had the rear subframe out to reseal the diff and replace the brake and repair the brakes, rebuild the cylinders, and fix the emergency brake. The whole suspension assembly is part of the subframe, and it's held in with 4 rubber mounts and 2 control arms. And this is what gives you a good ride in these cars, in that the whole suspension and everything is solid, but it's mounted the car in rubber. So you don't get like deflections from, you know, camber changes and so forth. It has inboard mounted disc brakes, which also help the handling a little bit. This one's been modified with aftermarket shocks that are adjustable.
Oh, great, great. Thank you, Bill.
Show the head.
Sure, absolutely.
Let me show you a little quirk here on Jaguar engines. If you've ever heard of an Italian tune-up on one of these things, that's where you just drive the car really hard to blow it out, blow the carbon deposits and so forth out. And one of the reasons that is with these cars is you notice the cylinder head here, there's no combustion chamber. cylinders flat. This gives you excellent breathing for higher RPM use, but because there's no confined combustion chamber, you don't get a good mix of the air-fuel ratio at lower speeds, and you don't get as good of a combustion. So if you notice on this piston here, you can see a lot of carbon deposits. And that's what you get. The best thing to do with these motors is to keep the revs up a little bit. They'll redline at 6,500. So, you know, try and keep them above 2,000 RPM and you won't get that problem. This particular head had some corrosion around one of the intake valve seats. That was, it was better to replace the head than to try and repair that.
Is it correct in saying this engine had only 36,000 miles or something like 30,000 miles on it? And we thought it was very low mileage for needing to be rebuilt. Can you comment on anything about that as to why that may be the case?
Yeah, you figure how old is this car? You know, it's almost 50 years old, 48 years old. And it's probably sat a long time, and then you start it up and run it, everything's dry. The, you know, the valve guides.
A lot of dry startups then.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of dry startups.
Yeah.
The cams in these things generally hold up well because when the engine's not just sitting, the oil tends to pull around the base of the cam lobes, and the cams don't wear, but this had a lot of bearing wear and a lot of valve guide wear. And that's just from you know, starting it up at, you know, after sitting months or even years.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Well, thank you, Bill. Thank you very much. Bill is going to be available for questions here. And I'd like to go down the row of Series 3 E-types that we've assembled for you. The Regency Red 4-speed car right here just came in and was a restoration done 30 years ago. And it's been parked for the last couple of years. We got the bad fuel out of it, and now we're in the middle of an evaluation that we evaluated from the front to the rear bumper. Look at all the systems, the hydraulic system, the electrical system, the structural integrity of the car, obviously, very important. And we'll evaluate the engine and then provide a guideline report for the gentleman so he can pick off what he'd like to do in what order. We'll certainly recommend safety and reliability issues first. But if you note the bumper overriders I mentioned a minute ago, this is how the US spec cars came in. And a lot of the guys who brought these and kind of groaned and said, okay, this is what we can get. This is the way the DOT saw the way the world going, no covered headlamps and the big bumper overriders. The 1972 car that Bill just outlined has the earlier bumper overriders, or the smaller ones. And Bill just talked about this car. I want to move down here to this one. This is a 1974 E-type with Euro spec bumpers. We restored this car. It's got to be at least 10 years ago, I'm guessing. And part of the restoration was fitting the German headlamps conversions. I believe they're halogens. Been 10 years since we've done this with the Euro spec bumpers. It gives it a real smart look for the Series 3. Again, this had the big bumper overriders and it had the open headlamps, but boy, does that change the look of the car. And we did this in concert with respraying the car and doing all the mechanicals. And it's just sat for a little bit. I'm pleased to say we got it back in and it's fired up and going to need a little TLC. And I spoke with a gentleman today who's hopefully on the meeting tonight, and we don't have a major oil leak. We have a minor power steering leak from what I understand at this point. We did a fresh interior in this car, resprayed this car, and mechanically, Bill, if you can give me a hand with this bonnet here, I believe it's very, very presentable, but again, not done to a concours spec, but a very good driver spec. And it's been sitting for a while, and we're just going to need to go through it and freshen up those things that relate to fuel, hydraulic fluid, and rubber. Those are the three things we chase. We seem to chase on all these cars. So, a great car, a great look, something we're doing here. In fact, the car behind Ryan right now is a 74 that we've just fitted the Euro spec bumpers to. This would have had, and this had, the big rubber bumper overriders that have been eliminated. We put the Eurospec bumpers on it. I think on this one, we're going to still leave the headlamps open as the client requested. We've got to cut the paint one more time. We resprayed this at our sister shop, but it needs its final cut and polish. And then we got to sort through some mechanicals. The car's been sitting a while here, and get the interior freshened and back in the hands of the owner. So right here is in this line, 48 cylinders of Jaguar. Now I tell people when I give a tour of the shop, and many of you own these cars on the Zoom tonight, and you can all agree with me, the Jaguar V12 engine is the engine that can drain your wallet with both hands at the same time, guys. So if you have it, love it. Know that it's going to be expensive to maintain and repair, but they're fantastic engines. As Bill said, they build torque. You stick your right foot down and you're off like the wind. And but there's a price to pay for all 4 carburetors and the cams and all the plumbing and everything in the car. So behind me, really big behind me, Rolls-Royce. This gentleman purchased a car new to him probably in the last couple of years. Bill, you want to tell us what you've been doing to this car?
I've been doing fuel work to it and brake work. The gas tank is out getting cleaned out because it was rusty. The carburetors needed going over. A good tune-up. It also, we're doing a lot of brake work to it. These cars have instead of what you normally use in a car, master cylinder, what they have is hydraulic pumps which build pressure. The pressure is stored in an accumulator. And when you step on the brake pedal, you're actually allowing that pressure to go to the brakes. You're not making the pressure yourself as you would in a regular master cylinder setup. Works good, but very expensive to repair.
Very good. Thank you again, Bill. How's everybody think Bill's doing in his debut experience tonight? What do you think? Everybody's giving you a thumbs up. It's all good, all good. So behind the Rolls-Royce is a car that some of you may know. I don't think they were ever actually imported by Triumph here. They were gray market cars, if you will. This is before Triumph really set up their distribution network with the TR2 in 1953. This is, I believe, is a 49 or a 50, Bill?
It's 49.
49, Triumph 2000. A right drive car. I think they were all right drive, my understanding. Bill, if you'd be so kind to open the bonnet on this. This is powered by, I believe, a Vanguard engine and the precursor to the Triumph TR engine with a little less power and a bigger car. You know, so in that being said, these are great touring cars. It's a 4-place car. We'll show you that in a minute. But it has probably 90 horsepower, maybe, whereas the TR3 has 100 horsepower. It's a single carburetor. This is not going to set the world on fire, but if you want to cruise out to Dairy Queen or have a nice drive down the road 4 up, you'll be fine. And this is purchased by a collector in our area. We've gone over his Series 3 E-Type. We're going to be delivering this shortly and picking up a London taxi cab that he'd like us to sort through. And again, this is just being finished up. Bill's had it out on the road, some trials, some proofing. And Ryan wants to walk back here, and Bill helped me with one side of this. I say this is a 4-up car. This is kind of interesting. The boot opens. If you notice on the back bumper, there's a step where you can step up. And then this windscreen pops up, I think. Wait, we got to pull this out here all the way up. And these little jump seats fold down. Oh, you get the drill. You get the jump seat folds up, and you can sit 2 people in here. Obviously, they have to be agile enough to hop up over the spare tire.
I think you have to.
You have to pull the seat forward. Yeah. But you get the idea between this, and so you actually have a little spot back here where passengers can ride. So kind of cool in that respect. Just to go out 4-up touring, it's kind of neat. So it was purchased at an auction. And what we find a lot with auction cars, they look pretty. They've been done nice in many, many cases, but some of the mechanicals were overlooked. And Bill's been chasing through the brakes and suspension and steering. We put new tires on it, and it's just in the final stages of being proofed right now. in front of the Triumph 2000. By the way, look at the front end on that. That's classic pre-war design, struggling to get into the post-war era, you know, with the big clamshell wings and the gigantic headlamps.
And for the starting handle, fits through there.
There's your starting crank right there, right? And again, this is the precursor to the Triumph TR2. So you can kind of see some of the lines a little bit in it. But boy, they made a radical change there. To your left, Ryan, swinging around this way, is a SP250 Daimler Dart, fiberglass car with a 2.5-liter hemispherical V8. These cars, some of these cars were used as police pursuit vehicles in England back in the day. They had a lot of power. I think some were equipped with automatic transmissions too, I believe.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah. And this car came to us pretty much in the paint that you see. We've sorted through the mechanicals, carburation, front end suspension work. And right now we've just gotten the grill back from the chromer. We're going to fit the grill. We had to make the grill fit the car, which is kind of the reverse way of doing it, but the car was already in finished paint. Now, without the grill in there, you can't see it, but it has a very distinctive look. And they're pretty cars. They're interesting cars. You never see another car look like it on the road. On our left is a Triumph TR6 up top. Excuse me. We're just doing an evaluation on this car. Came in from Rochester, New York last week. Owners had it for some time. The technician reported to me earlier today, very solid car, very, very nice car. It's been resprayed. He can live with the paint as it is. It's been sitting for 15 years. It will need a full mechanical freshening. Again, hydraulics, fuel, and rubber. Underneath it is an MGB, an early refrigerator handle MGB, which one of our guys really likes here, and we're doing, again, a similar approach. A lot of mechanical things that were just left to be ignored over the years to make it a nice running driving car. Note the plastic cover. The plastic cover protects the car from the car on top of it. So, and we're going to finish up with a nice little Spitfire. A fellow friend of mine in the Triumph Club got some pine needles on it here. And a Spitfire 1500. We have rebuilt the engine. And the lady owner of this car plans on going on an endeavor next year across the entire country. Her husband's going to stay home and track her on the internet. But Melody's going to go out there and have a great time. She has a fresh engine in this car. We're sorting through the car right now to get it to the point where it's going to be safe and reliable. We're very, very close. She'll be taking delivery on this car very shortly. The only other things I can show you that are here is some componentry. You have an MGB that's in the metal and paint shop. And right here on the stands, the rear differential on the front, we've disassembled from the car. We've rebuilt them. Again, this is a driver restoration, so aesthetics are not of importance, but all the mechanical wear items have been replaced. New brakes, new componentry, shock absorbers, and the front end, new hoses and everything that you can see that can wear, and it will ride and drive like a new MGB. So at this point, I want to thank Bill Dietrich for his time. We're just a couple minutes over an hour, and I want to open this up for questions, and I'm going to head upstairs to Owen, and maybe Bill can come and join us. Ryan will come up, and we'll entertain any questions anybody may have. Bear with us just a moment, please. Is this microphone open?
We are unmuted.
We're unmuted. Excellent. Okay, guys, you can see me beamed in here with Owen. We'll unmute everybody. Can we do that? Who's got some questions for us? There we go. Put your hand up. Harlan, you got any questions? When do you want to send your Italia up here?
He's muted. I can't. I gotta.
You can't hear me.
I don't think I can.
Hang on just a second.
Just click on the microphones in each one of them, one at a
I
time.
guess I have.
Unmute.
Well, no, I have to. It's.
There you go. All right, we're unmuting everybody here. You can do that yourself when you're, and unmute your microphone. Have any questions? Hope everybody enjoyed the show that we have here for you tonight. And I'm just stalling for time. Somebody put their hand up who might have some questions. Anybody? All right, hang on.
I did. I unmuted this one.
Okay, can everybody hear me okay? Put your thumbs up if you can hear me. Yes? Okay, perfect, good.
I gotta go through everybody. Just ask them to unmute.
You're asking to unmute. Let me check.
Can I force him unmute everybody?
Yeah, you can do this. You can do it this way. You can do,
Gonna unpin the video.
you get Ryan in here. Unmute.
Okay.
You do unmute all.
Gallery view.
Here we go.
So Dave, I have
There
a
we go.
question.
There we
There we go. Okay, now we can hear you guys. How's everybody doing? Everybody still awake? Everybody fall asleep?
No, doing well, doing well.
Good.
Doing good.
So who has any questions related to Jaguar or anything, British cars? I mean, Bill's standing here. I don't think
I
you
got a question.
got a question. Go ahead.
So since most of these cars are not daily drivers, how often should you go out and start them up and run the engines?
How often should you do that?
Yeah.
I tell people twice a month. Maybe people tell more. Bill, what do you think?
Well, the more the better.
The more the better.
If you do start it and run it, it's best to drive it and get the engine oil temperature good and hot.
And get the exhaust hot as well.
Yeah. You don't want to just start it up, let it idle a bit, and then shut it off.
Right.
It's actually worse.
So you can drive it. Obviously, if there's salt on the road during the winter, that may preclude you from driving a car that you want to keep the undercarriage nice. But if there's no salt and you get out, and I'd say minimum 20-minute drive, that gets it up to temperature typically. And if you can do it drive twice a month, that's going to keep the car healthy.
We have a.
Thank you.
And you have a question, Patrick?
I have a Jaguar XJS that I've had about 12 years. In the beginning, it ran fine, but I have a starting issue with it. Okay, and anybody I bring this to has a real hard time. They never fix it. They fix it, say it's fine, and then what happens? Leave it a couple of days, try to start it, it won't start.
Right.
I don't know where to go, what to do with this. I love this car. But,
I'll have some. I gotta get my batteries. I gotta change the batteries.
It's a real problem.
Well, where are you located, Patrick?
I'm in Orange County, New York.
Orange County, New York. And you can take it to the Orange County choppers because they don't know it, right?
I know those guys.
We have a client base from Virginia to Massachusetts, and so we deal with people all up and down the East Coast. We can certainly help you with the car. And how long have you owned it, Patrick?
I've owned it for about 10 years, 12 years.
10 years. And so you're taking someone to get it running okay a little bit, and then you have problems with it again.
That's right.
No, I can help you with the car.
It's got 40,000 miles on it. It's a.
And how's the body and the paint and interior? Everything looking good?
It looks great. I mean, I had it resprayed, and I had the interior done. Done over, so it's in pretty good shape.
No,
I mean,
I would suggest, if you'd like, I'd be happy to reach out to you by phone if you want to share your phone number, or you can send me an email tomorrow, or whenever you're confident, and then I can talk to you about what we can do as far as transporting the car and evaluating the car, and then you can make some informed decisions. Too many people, I find, and I have a lot of confidence in the guys and the staff we have here, that we do it right. And it can run into a fair amount of time, and time is money. But we do it right, and we're going to call it right. You got to get down to the basics and do a compression test and see if you have good compression and look at it. And too many people have done hopscotch repairs or repairs that are just isolated in the whole system. And all too often, you end up with a situation like you have, Patrick, and you don't have a comprehensive look at the car.
I will.
I'll give you a shout tomorrow, and we'll talk about it.
I will. Dave Hutchinson, right? I'm new to the club, so nobody knows me. But it's Ragtops and Roadsters, and I speak to you, Dave, right?
Yeah, Ragtops and Roadsters. Our number is 215-257-1202. Give me a shout. We can talk about it in more depth to help you out with the car, and we can make transportation. We can transport the car for you as well.
Okay. I also have an MGB.
I'm sorry?
It's an MGB.
Oh, yeah, an MGB too.
Yeah, but that's in pieces right now. But
I would recommend one car at a time.
I have 6.
Yeah, not a problem. Nice to meet you. Feel free to reach out to me and give us a shout. We'll be happy to see what we can do for you.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Patrick. Nice to meet you. Anybody else have any other questions? Anybody raise their hand?
Yep.
Just a comment.
Bob, go ahead, Bob. What do you got?
I got a 1974 Roadster last fall, and it came to me with a bra and a tonneau cover, both in good condition, but it does not have the cover. Excuse me? It does not have the cover that goes over the
top.
While the hood is down.
Right, the hood cover.
Yes. Where do I get one of those?
Possibly XK Unlimited. I don't know if the hood cover really needs to be fitted to the car. What are your thoughts on that, Bill? To an XJS again?
No, it's a Series 3 E-Type.
Oh, Series 3 E-Type.
I think you may have to install the snaps on.
You probably have to install the snaps on that. I would source that at XK Unlimited or Bassett? Barrett?
SNG Barrett.
SNG Barrett.
There's a bunch of them.
Yeah. You might be able to install the snaps yourself, or that's something we could help you with. Where are you from, Bob?
Capitol Hill, Washington.
Okay. Again, the DC Club. Yeah. Very good. Very good.
You know that XK Unlimited is now Moss Motors.
Yes.
So it's right in Petersburg.
That's right, I know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
So
you're right. It has to be installed. You have to put the snaps in.
Pretty good parts from them. We're on them. We're on the phone with them pretty regularly.
Okay.
I see Steve Wood there. How you doing, Steve? Haven't talked to you in a while. How you been? Mute him. We're gonna find you here and unmute you if we can. There you go.
Hey.
Got it. How you been, Steve?
How you doing?
Good. Are you the Steve Wood that I know with?
I've been doing good. Enjoyed the show.
Good.
Hey.
A little Austin Hilly bug eye? No.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I haven't talked to you.
Yes, mission. And no, it's great. We drive it a lot. So
yeah, we put the 5-speed Mazda gearbox, I think, in your car, right?
Yeah, it was funny because a lot of people have seen it, and you and I worked a lot to try to get it to look from the interior like it was original, you know. And so that worked out great. A lot of people see it, and I tell them, and they go, "Well, where's the big shift boot?" And I go, "No, we fixed that." So
cool. Glad you're enjoying it. That's a good gearbox too. Yeah, good time.
No, it's great. Hey, I got a quick question.
Sure, go ahead. Who is that?
So when you do the conversion on the, when you do the conversion on the Jaguar headlamps, where you convert them to the closed ones, do you have to do any body work to that?
Yes, the bonnet had to be cut, and the holes.
Did that.
Our metal fabricator at Pollock did that, and is familiar with doing that. The bonnet itself had to be, the aperture, I believe, had to be cut and opened further than what is already there for the open headlamps.
So it's not a plug and no, play kind of thing.
It's some surgery, right? Yeah. There's
okay.
some surgery involved in that, and really, if you're going to cut into it, you better plan on respraying the bonnet at a minimum, because I think I don't know. It depends on if your bonet's been whacked and how much plastic's been in it, over the years, you don't know, So,
Yeah, right.
all right, I got to say a shout out here. I just saw someone here. There we go. Gary, how you doing? Unmute Gary Converts. Gary, where is he? We're trying to find you. Unmute you. Hang on just a second. You can do it on your computer too. Hang on. Oh boy. No.
Oh, there he is.
There you go. Well, okay, we're unmuting you now, Gary.
That's good.
There I am.
I can see. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, enjoying the show. Like my car in the shop.
Yeah,
and
it was the fourth
I'm a
one
great
in,
spectator.
and it made 48 cylinders of Jaguar there tonight. Yes.
Yes, I saw that.
So we're in the process of the evaluation. Yes. We got a frame freeze on you, Gary.
That's great. All good.
Good to see you. Glad you joined us tonight. Anybody else have any other questions tonight? I see Richie. Is that Richie Samar up there? Okay, and Mike Wolf. How you doing, Mike? He's waving. Good. And hey, Jim. How you doing, Jim? Good to see you. All right, let's see if we can.
I got it, Bill.
Oh,
I sent you a message, but a question for Bill. Does he recommend any modifications to the XK engine to improve reliability? For example, machining the crank for an oil seal versus to replace the rope seal, stuff like that. Anything to sort of make contemporary modifications. Just curious.
Yeah, I would certainly suggest the rear seal conversion. There's a better front seal for the XK engines, but I don't like it. I've had a couple of them leak over the original one. But certainly the rear seal. And, other modifications depends on, how much horsepower you want and how much you want to spend. Certainly putting in the later pistons in an early engine, in an early, putting the 4.2 pistons, the late 4.2 pistons in an early engine is a better upgrade. But the basic engine is pretty good. There's modern head gaskets for them that we've had good success with and have had problems with. The what are they? The Comatech, is it? Gaskets. We've used them in the past, and on a couple of them they've leaked.
Hope that answers your question, Jim. Good to see you tonight. Good. And Patrick, what are you new to the JCNA, or are you in the New York region up there? You want to unmute yourself there? Okay, just unmute everybody. Just keep going. I can't. Oh.
Okay. Yes, I am new. I have these two cars, and I'm going to need help. And I hunted around for good clubs, and I'm glad you have a Zoom meeting. And having a good time listening to you guys, and I hope you can help me out. I like these cars, and I want to get them on the road.
Sure.
And
sure. Are you a member of the New York region of the Jaguar Club or the national JCNA?
Actually, I apologize. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm a member of a lot of clubs, and I have 6 cars, and 4 of them are American cars, muscle cars, and two British cars. So they keep me busy. I tell you the truth. These things have to be exercised, and my wife's over here telling me, a lot of money. Okay, that has to be spent in these things. But hey, what are we going to do, right? That's some people play golf in retirement. This is
right.
what I
Yeah, I'm not going to do that myself. Well, I'm confident that we can give you a comprehensive evaluation, and you make some informed decisions from there. And then you set as I say, a roadmap to recovery or roadmap to repair. So rather than just kind of looking at it in an isolated way, you got to do it soon because Bill's how old are you now, Bill?
64.
He's 64, and he tells me he's going to retire in a matter of months. So we should talk soon. All right.
I will. I'll give you a call. I will give you
All
a
right,
call.
that sounds good. Anybody else have any other questions? Yeah, sure.
Dave.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a question. I have an XJS 92 V12.
Yeah.
And it runs great, but when I fill the gas tank up, the gauge goes up to about 3/4. As soon as I start driving the car, the gauge starts going down and it goes down to almost 0. Now, my mechanic has looked at all kinds of things.
You
and
got
he
a
hasn't yet been able to
You probably got a float that's sinking, right? Yeah.
a float that's sinking. He said that he's looked at that or replaced it, and he just can't fix it. Now, he's a Jaguar guy.
Yeah.
Well, if the sending unit is working properly, then it's either a wiring or a gauge issue. It seems kind of weird that it would act that way. I would think still some kind of issue with the sending unit. Not the float dropping down, but maybe when you're accelerating, the float is moving around to the point where it's not making good contact inside the sending unit itself. Did you replace the sending unit, or did you test it?
I'm not sure that he replaced the sending unit.
Mm-hmm.
This is City Imports in Glen Burnie, Maryland. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Mm-hmm. No, we're not. No.
Yeah. Well, he's a Jaguar guy.
You bring cars in from Virginia, from Maryland, wherever. I'm confident we can find it. It's a matter of making the time, getting the car up here, and we can certainly go through it for you. Aside from what Bill said, just check the sender and the gauge. No other information we gave you. That's an odd problem.
Okay, thank you. This is a great session. I really enjoyed it. I'm with the
You're very welcome.
top of the Jaguars.
It's a way for us to say hi to the club members in these crazy times, and we appreciate everybody signing on tonight. Does anybody else have any other questions? No? Oh. Angie Carpenter, hang on a second there, and we're going to make you, there we go. Angie, you can unmute yourself now.
Hey, this is Stan.
You're Angie. I think you're Stan. How you doing, Stan?
Yeah. I'm subbing for the better looking half.
Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you too. So, question for Bill.
Yeah.
How soon before my V12 fires up?
Very soon.
We'll capture that video for you, Stan, and we'll send you a video.
If you saw it on the video, but the engine is essentially all together. I have to install the exhaust system and do the fluids, put the fluids in, oil, transmission fluid, antifreeze. And then what I'm going to do is push it outside and start it up so it doesn't fill the shop up with smoke.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not far off.
Okay. I'm getting excited, although I can attest to Dave, your comments about both hands very deep into the pockets. But when you've had the privilege of owning your dream car for 25 years, as I have, then those are just some of the things you just have to do.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how recently you signed in, but we showed off your cam cover.
Oh, yeah. I knew that. I knew that look before you showed it.
Yeah. So good to see you, Stan, and nice to meet everybody else online here. And we're still open for more questions if you'd like to. I'm going to do a shameless plug if there's no more questions. There's no more questions. So this is where I take my hat off, and I hold this close to the camera, and I show this. You see what that says? No. All right. America's British Reliability Run. We sponsored the event. Some of you heard me talk about it in the past. Google the two words you've never Googled together before, British Reliability, and check it out. It's a one-day run this year. We sold out the first run in 14 days, and we opened up a second date, the 24th of October. It's a river run from Yardley, Pennsylvania up to Allentown. We raise money for kids in need. We'd love to have you join us. You don't have to have a Jaguar. We'd love to have a 5-speed. If anybody has a 5-speed Austin Healey Sprite out there, anybody got one of those? There you go. Love to have you guys join us. Check it out. Again, Google British Reliability. Click on PA. There's 5 of them that run throughout the country. And Mike is proud to sponsor and has sponsored this event for 10 years now. And we raised over 40 grand for the kids at Shriners, and we're doing our best to help them out again this year. Over 90% of their people who raised money for them this year bailed and said, we're going, we can't help you. So they're absolutely thrilled that we're running 2 events, and hopefully we'll have 60 cars in the field. Everything's CDC compliant, the food's outside, everything is going to be done safely so we all can drive and have a good day. Again, October 24th, Jim Shireen is there. The Jaguar Club is a title sponsor. The DVJ is a title sponsor. So is the DVT. We thank everybody for their support, and it allows us to run this event safely. We're going to end up at American on Wheels. If you guys haven't been there, it's a great auto museum up in Allentown, and they're going to host us for a private tour on the 24th. So check it out. And there's nothing else we can help with. We'll sign off here. Anybody else have any other questions? I want to thank Owen behind me here who just faded out and fading in, fading out. Owen for answering questions and working in the I see Rick Berger there. Hello, Rick. He's our former shop manager. Hey, Rick. He's our IT man, keeps all the IT running. I want to thank Ryan Hutchison, who was behind the camera, and Bill Dietrich. And, of course, Mike Angard, who keeps everything running here, and for helping us support the Zoom meetings. Hopefully we can have more in the future. And please give us a shout if we can help you out. And love to see all you guys. And come back again. And if you'd like to get our newsletter, hit us at ragtops.com and sign up for the newsletter, and you'll see a newsletter about all the events, all the British car events, like none right now. You know, actually, Mike and I are headed down to the Greenwich, not the Greenwich, Greenbrier. Thank you, the Greenbrier Concours. It's the last surviving concours show on Labor Day weekend. They take your temperature when you go in, and we're showing a cobalt blue Italia that we did, a sister to that silver one we showed you, and Mike's bringing a Model T down. So we're hoping for a good weekend. It's the first show that we've done since, well, you've done one last weekend. Yeah, he did the AACA Grand National last weekend. 450 cars? Yeah. Spectator, no, they said no spectators, but I think you could get in out in Gettysburg. But some events are coming back. The driving events seem to be surviving because there's no inside dining. You know, there's no hotels involved. But hopefully, you know, if you guys want to join us for the Reliability Run or any of the future events, or again, send us an email at ragtops.com. If you're not already on our newsletter, we'd be happy to share the newsletter with you on a monthly basis. Patrick, you give me a shout whenever, and we'll help you out with that XJS. All right, everybody. Thanks again. If there's no more questions, have a great night, and we'll see you on the next Zoom. Take care. Good night.